I'm sure you're probably not wondering, where have I been for the last 3 weeks or so? I've been here, mostly. Mainly trying to get dissertation stuff sorted. So I had a lot of deadlines due and I got them all out of the way and uni things settled down temporarily. But then dissertation stuff picked up and I wanted to push a study out to people. I'll cover that in another video, don't you worry. So that had to take priority, so I took the time to focus on that. And on top of that, being honest, I've been playing probably too much COD. I'm trying to relive my schoolboy days, and it's going pretty well. Excuse the trim. I mean, look at that. It's been weeks. Look at this atrocious monstrosity on my head. Oh, I've got a bird's nest on my head. Madness. Today, what we're going to do, we're going to talk about things. Home workouts. As you're probably aware, considering we've been in lockdown for about 3 years now, people are doing loads of home workouts. Fantastic. Staying active. Great news. Trying to maintain, maybe progress. I'm going to be honest, I expected, because this whole home workout boom, understandably, as to why, I expected there to be a lot of crap floating around regarding BS home workouts, especially from our favourite influencers. They've actually been quite tolerable. Granted, things like this have popped up. Hopefully, I don't need to explain to anyone watching, but if you are watching and you're considering buying one of these, please don't. Honestly, it doesn't work. It just doesn't work. In fairness, it does look cool, and it has a USB. It kind of makes you look a bit like Iron Man, but that's not what we're going for here. But yeah, as a whole, I was going through the usual suspects, we'll say, like Whitney Simmons posted things like this. I'm not gonna lie, I'm impressed. I like this. Good use of a band, good work. Granted, bands are like gold dust these days, so good luck trying to get hold of them. You can try, but there are a few places popping them in stock. I think MyProtein had some lighter bands in stock recently. And then you had like Natasha Ocean, I can't pronounce her last name, posting things like this, which again, not awful actually. Like she's doing movements which are simple, effective bodyweight movements. It's primarily for like HIIT stuff rather than, I guess, muscular development. So more about getting a sweat on and expending calories, which is probably what a lot of people want during this time. And then you've got obviously people like Naturally Stephanie posting things like this in partnership with Gymshark, with obviously the bands and the booty band, we'll call it, although I do actually have a Slingshot Hip Circle, which is basically the same thing. It's different. It's not really. So as a whole, I've actually been impressed. Like I really wanted to slaughter these big names, but they've actually done it right. I do wish Grace Fit was still producing fitness content and was not Grace Beverly, but then I saw one thing or one person that did immediately jump out at me, and I knew from the get-go when I had a little search for her name, I said, I bet this is going to be good. Babby Pollock. Remember her? We did a video on her a while back. Abby Pollock. The thing is, I can understand the benefit of obviously using additional resistance. It's fine, great idea. Anything towards the end of the day, any resistance is going to be good. When you're using things like a can of food, which weighs on average maybe like 200 grams, for things like pullovers, wouldn't it be more effective just grabbing at least a bottle of water, which is probably going to weigh around a kilo? Like if you really want to add some resistance, like it very much depends on your strength level. If you're a relatively strong individual, so granted that's subjective, it's a subjective term, what do you define as strong? Strength is relative. But if you're someone who can lift a decent amount of weight in comparison to your body weight, i.e. more than your body weight, and you're lifting a kilo, probably going to lack the sufficient stimulation for the muscles to actually do anything. Rather than trying to find cans of food to use with pullovers, just use what she did at the beginning, which is a gallon jug if you have access to one. Backpacks, you can fill them up with bottles of water. There are so many things you do. Look around your house, just grab a bag or a suitcase. Granted, for certain movements, a suitcase won't be very convenient. Doing pullovers with suitcases isn't going to work very well, but you can try. You ever gone to the airport and they said, oh, your baggage allowance is 23 kilos, and then suddenly you're like, oh, how have I managed to get 26 kilos worth of clothes considering I'm only going to go away for 5 days? Do that. Overpack for a holiday you're not going on and use that as added resistance. Laughing. Provided you're maintaining some kind of activity, that's obviously a big win. That's going to help you massively, especially when we come out of lockdown and we get back into the routine of training properly. It's definitely going to help with the maintenance of fitness, strength. People could probably be a bit more creative than resorting to cans of food. I mean, if you are going to resort to cans of food, if that tickles your pickle, I'm not judging. Do whatever you want, whatever you have access to. Maybe get a few cans and stick them in a bag. Think about ways you can just increase the resistance, because at the end of the day, you want to be shifting as much weight as possible safely to ideally maintain as much muscle mass as possible. And then maybe if you're looking at caloric expenditure, on top of that, you can throw in some HIIT-based workouts as well, as I've kind of shown before with Whitney and Natasha, and just get the body moving, or go for a run. Do boring cardio. I mean, I don't, but we know I'm very unfit. Unfortunately, this is a prime time as well for companies to be pushing BS products which they claim will help you stay fit at home, like the Iron Man waist trainer I showed at the beginning of the video. Please don't buy into that stuff. It really doesn't work. They're leeching onto the fear and panic in people regarding their loss of progress, and essentially trying to capitalise on the situation caused by a pandemic, which is very unfortunate. If you didn't buy it back then, you don't need it now. Things that will be of great use to you: bands, some weights, a mat, a foam roller. You can make a hack squat, which I'll show you now. Things that would be somewhat similar to what you would use at the gym. I'm taking these off, I don't need them. Oh, Jeebus, that's bright. I know it's hard to find weights and bands these days, but eBay's a great shout, although people are charging an absolute disgusting amount for things. I looked at a squat rack a couple of weeks ago, and its regular retail price was like 170 quid. The man was selling it in horrific condition on Facebook Marketplace for 200 quid. He was selling it for more than the new price when it was in horrific condition. And I said, piss off. And I verbally whacked him. I didn't, I'm not like that man. I nearly called Carol Baskin to sort him out, but I do not condone that behaviour. I think she killed her husband with sardine oil. If you are struggling for fitness motivation at home, like home workouts, shockingly, I would not be opposed to recommending you look at people like Whitney Simmons' HIIT workouts, especially with her bands and stuff. Granted, not everything they're posting is amazing, but some of the stuff I have seen is not actually bad, like the stuff I've presented through the videos that her band workout. And this may be the time booty builders, a dying breed it seems, could actually be posting somewhat beneficial workout tips on the old Instagram for those who are limited to only their body weight. If you do have access to weights, I just try and replicate what you would do in the gym as closely as possible. You can do a lot with bands and dumbbells, mix them together, bands and dumbbells at the same time. Fantastic work. Slow down the eccentric, slow down the concentric, get fat tempo in there, higher reps, drop sets, supersets. I mean, there are so many things you can do to increase intensity, but that is going to be your go-to at this time. To maintain muscle mass, intensity should be your best friend. I know I said this last time, but I'm actually going to stick to it. I am actually going to start posting at least weekly again. Ideally, I want to get up to posting twice a week, but I don't want to sacrifice quality to do so. I think I'd rather focus on doing it once a week, but actually maybe putting a bit more effort into that singular video. But I would be very welcome to ideas you may have. So let me know in the comment section below what you want to see, and I'll do it. Anyway, I hope you're all keeping well, keeping safe, and being careful. Next week, we're back on it. So let's go.